Morning, everyone. Let me start by saying that another week has gone by without a long-term plan from the president to fix the problems at the Veterans Administration. Recently, the VA admitted to Congress it spends billions of taxpayer dollars on care with no contracts. Really? No contracts? And the agency has no intention of changing this. So we keep passing reforms, but only the administration can make the culture changes necessary from within. Here in the House, it's another big week for the people's priorities. We voted to make internet access tax-free permanently, protecting jobs and opportunity. We passed more reforms to rein in red tape on America's farmers. And today we'll pass a defense bill that gives our troops the resources they need and the pay raises that they deserve. For their part, Washington Democrats are doing all they can to block this pay raise for our troops. Their plan is to block, filibuster, veto everything, starting with a pay raise for our troops in order to extract more funding for the IRS and the EPA. Now, if they don't get what they want, Democrats appear willing to shut down the government. What this comes down to is real simple. Do Democrats support our troops or don't they? Do Democrats put our troops first or do they put the IRS and the EPA first? Because on one hand right now, we've got the president saying he doesn't have a strategy to defeat the grave threat from ISIL. And on the other hand, we have his party holding up funding for our troops and their mission. So whatever game the Democrats are playing, it's dangerous, and frankly, it ought to stop. Another area where Republicans are leading is when it comes to free trade. We've worked to address the concerns of members on both sides of the aisle, and we've accepted both substantive and procedural changes proposed by House Democrats. This vote's about doing what's right for the country. It's about China out there writing the rules for the global economy, and if we stay on the sidelines, our allies will gravitate back towards China, away from us, and away from our workers. So we're doing our part to pass trade promotion authority, and I'm hopeful that our friends on the other side of the aisle will do theirs. If we work together, it'll be a big win for American jobs and American leadership.
I wonder if you could talk about TAA a little bit. How much support do Democrats need to give you guys to get that across the finish line?
We'll do our part, and I hope they'll do their part.
What is your part? How could you give a sense of the level?
I'm not the whip, so I don't do numbers.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
On defense for a second, there's an argument to be made, Democrats seem to be making it pretty aggressively, that basically this is undercutting the caps that were agreed to in the 2011 BCA. And certainly, it looks like we're going to be heading into a discussion in the fall about what to do with those caps. They've mostly held for the last couple of years, but this seems to be basically the beginning of an unraveling of those. And I'm curious as to who's to blame for that. You guys or the president?
The budget caps were put in place, was an agreement between the president and myself and ratified by the Congress. And those budget caps have been in place and they've worked. One reason why the deficit is half of what it was 5 years ago. Having said that, the president asked for more money for defense. And in this bill, we provide the president with exactly what he asked for our troops. He doesn't like the way we did it. All right, what's his plan? We have passed bill after bill over the last 3 or 4 years to help replace part of the sequester. Never went anywhere in the Democrat-controlled Senate. And so if they want to change the caps, where's the discussion to do it? Where's their plan? They don't have a plan. We do, and we put ours forward.
Speaker Boehner, are you confident that this trade bill will pass, TPA will pass?
Listen, I'm encouraged. We've had good discussions this week on a bipartisan basis. We've addressed the concerns raised by our members and, frankly, by the Democrat members of the House. And we're going to continue to work to try to get there.
Will you guarantee it by the end of the month?
I'm not in the guaranteeing business.
Kevin McCarthy,
We're
we're
working hard to get there. Chuck.
Mr. Speaker, by all accounts, at least 20 Democrats will vote for TPA. That would let you lose as many as 48 Republicans. Given this is such an important priority for you and your team, isn't it reasonable to think that Republicans could hold their losses to that?
Well, it would be reasonable, but it's not. All right? I wish it was that easy. Listen, after the unions locked down most of the Democrats, they turned their fire on conservative Republican households and shoving mail into these districts, raising other concerns from the right. And so we've got members on both sides of the aisle who've got concerns about this. And we've been working our way through this process, and I feel good about it. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, have you spoken with the President in the last few days about this trade bill? And are you satisfied with the efforts he's making to pass it?
I have talked to the President. I know he's working at this, and I hope his efforts are successful.
What's your reaction to the president's plan to send 450 more troops to Iraq for training purposes? Is this a PR move, or do you think it'll really help?
I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's a tactical move because there are needs in that part of Iraq. What's still lacking is an overarching strategy to deal with it. And I've outlined what I think an overarching strategy looks like, and I'm hopeful we'll see one.
Mr. Speaker, just going to go back to the trade bill for a second and the secrecy that some of the critics are essentially talking.
There is no trade bill.
Well, essentially, just what is being agreed upon. You have Mr. Ryan who's saying that once it's agreed upon, it'll be made public, it'll be made declassified. And you had the Republicans back in 2009 who were essentially making fun of Speaker Pelosi about the Obamacare bill. Can you talk about that? Saying that, once it passes, then people can actually see what's in it?
There's a trade negotiation going on. And like any other negotiation that goes on, you don't want to air out, what everybody's positions are. That's not what we're voting on. By passing trade promotion authority, we'll actually give Congress more openness, more involvement in what the trade agreement may look like if we ever get one, and goalpost along the way. And so if, in fact, there's going to be a trade agreement with the Asians or a trade agreement with the Europeans, trade promotion authority allows us here in the Congress to outline what those goalposts should be, what the objectives should be, and gives us a part in helping advise the administration in the development of our position and in those discussions. Without trade promotion authority, we're never going to know what's there.
Mr. Speaker, you said that the caps have held well and that the president doesn't have a plan. In fact, the caps have not held well. There was a deal between Patty Murray and Paul Ryan to lift the caps the last 2 years, and the president asked for higher caps on both domestic and defense. So what he wants is for you to sit down with him and start budget negotiations again. Will you do that?
He hasn't asked. He hasn't asked. It's as simple as that. No, we've got a plan. We've got a plan that gives him what he wants for defense and keeps the caps in place. And if he wants to have a budget negotiation, all he has to do is ask. I'm a pretty reasonable guy.
Do you believe you have enough votes from both Democrats and Republicans to pass both TPA and TAA? And can you describe, I guess, how you feel about the votes on TPA? Do you believe you're in striking distance? Do you believe you have a cushion?
I'm not the whip, so I don't do vote counts, but we're working toward passage of both of these.
Last question. What would you identify as the outstanding issues that you have right now with Leader Pelosi? She has recently addressed concerns about public sector workers not being able to receive aid through TAA.
I think this is a red herring being raised by some of her colleagues. I don't understand where public workers would fall into trade adjustment assistance in any way, shape, or form. And even when this was part of the law, no public sector worker ever qualified for these benefits. And it hasn't been part of the law since 2011. We've addressed all of the substantive and procedural concerns that she's raised, and I'm hopeful the Democrats will do their part in helping to get this over the line in the next day and a half. Thanks.